Daphne du Maurier wrote in a famous novel, Rebecca, "Every moment was a precious thing, having in it the essence of finality." Every time I read this line, I realize that the importance of time, people, things increases as its longevity decreases. It's human nature to value what is short-lived. And so, once upon a time, Chang Lui had studied with the Zen master for 7 years, and the master in turn was pleased with his pupil. Chang was wise and would make an excellent master one day, thought the Zen master. But before he bid his disciple a farewell and wished him the best in life, there was one final test that Chang would have to go through. In the early hours of the morning, when the sun painted beautiful red sky outside the monastery, the master called for Chang and spoke to him with the calm of the gentle wind. "Chang, you're now ready for the one final question that I wish to pose to you." Chang was only too eager to hear what the master wanted to ask of him. "Go out there and find for me what is that one bit of knowledge that no man can live his life without. That, my dear Chang, is what I ask of you." Chang knew the question would be a difficult one, but he had no idea it was going to be so uphill. The very next day, Chang left the monastery and began his quest for the answer. He traveled far and wide. On many an occasion, he was certain he had found the right answer, but soon enough, he would realize that he was close but not right. It was a foggy winter day when Chang stood outside the walls of the forbidden city and gazed past the old roofs of the sun playing a game with the clouds. His glassy stare was evidence of his mind turning the problem that he had been battling with. He was startled out of his reverie when an American tourist standing next to him burst into peals of high-pitched appreciation for the splendor in front of him. Chang looked at him with enough disdain for the man to sufficiently curb his enthusiasm and make a quieter attempt at being joyous. He did not succeed in curbing his decibel level, but did succeed in making Chang laugh out loud. 3 hours later, they sat at a quiet tea house in the capital and listened with fascination to each other's lives. Theodore Williams was a scientist of a strange kind. He was researching animal suicides. Other than humans, did animals commit suicides? Chang was astonished to learn that there has been documentation to prove that dogs have tried to commit suicides. Whales and dolphins have been known to beach themselves in an effort to commit suicide. As a matter of fact, there were certain parasites that created a need in their host animal to end their lives. When Chang parted from his newfound friend late in the evening, he was carrying in his mind a new treasure of knowledge. How invigorating it was to meet someone like Theodore Williams. Then suddenly, Chang stopped in his tracks. Just like that, he had found the answer to the question his master had posed for him. He smiled. He had to go back to his master. It had been 6 months since Chang had left the monastery, and yet master was surprised to see him back so early. He had anticipated Chang to take much longer. "Tell me then, what is your answer, Chang?" the master probed with an enigmatic smile. "Death, master. Death. Man cannot do without the knowledge of death." Chang replied with a humble bow. "What makes you say that?" the master inquired further. "Man is the only animal in the world who knows that there is an end to life. He is the only animal that knows that death is inevitable, and that knowledge has made man different from every other animal. It is death that gives man's life a meaning. Only when you know that there might not be a tomorrow does today hold any value. Everything we do can be divided into one of those three things. One, about living through others after we are gone. Two, to postpone our own end. And three, to make every moment count. These are all the gifts of death. The master stood from his seat, clapping his hands with joy, and walked to Chang, giving him a warm embrace. You make me proud, Chang. Very, very proud. Chang, all he could feel was gratitude.